Alrighty, what is up everybody? This is Alex with Level Up Plus VFX, and today I'm going to give you a little short video about optimizing your Megascan assets when you import them into Blender, because we all know that Megascan's assets don't always come into Blender properly. Now I do pay Quixel for my Megascan assets, as you should. I know that it allows you to still export to Blender, but if you're doing this commercially, you probably should pay. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Given you pay, though, it's kind of crazy that they haven't fixed these issues. But I just want to show you how to fix some of them. So something you may have noticed in recent updates of Quixel is that when you import your Megascan asset in, be it this, texture of some dirt or this rock, your specular is now set to 0, when it used to be set to 0.5, which does change the way that your image looks, and a lot of the time it can make it look a lot flatter than it should. So if we look at this, if we go like this though, it's way too shiny. It doesn't look right either, even at 0.5. So how do you change this? How do you fix this? Well, it's as simple as going into your Bridge app. I'm going to bring that over to you guys. And in your Bridge app, if you go over to the settings option, go to download settings, and you enable specular, it doesn't come in by default. When you re-download your model, it'll import now with a specular map. If we look over here, I actually have the specular map because I already did that. So I'm just going to connect that in over here, and we're going to see there was this just ever so slight change to the way my rock looks. These specular highlights are suddenly looking just a little bit better. You can see it down on the bottom. They're catching that light a little bit more, and it's really apparent on textures like this one down here. So if we connect the specular map again, let's go ahead and connect that. That looks right. That looks like it's catching the light properly. Now, obviously, this texture still looks flat. There's a couple of things we can do to fix that. The very first one is, I've already done it. In the displacement, make sure your mid-level is set to 0.5 and not 0, just because once we add a displacement modifier, this will fix some things. Now, if we go over to our modifiers tab and add a subdivision surface modifier, go ahead and enable adaptive subdivision and turn it on, and we're going to get something that looks like that, which is going to, it just adds the bump properly. It looks good, but we can make it even better. Of course, we can play with things like the normal strength if we want to adjust it and get it dialed in. Maybe 1.6 is actually better than the default for this texture here, but obviously it depends on your scenario. Usually 1.6 is actually pretty high, but I actually think that's looking about right for me. 1.9 on that one, but yeah, let's go with 1.6. I think that looks pretty good. If we go over to this rock here, we change the normal. I think again, like a 1 value looks usually a little bit better. Same thing with assets, by the way. It doesn't just have to be textures. Using subdivision surface, if you can afford it, can help just boost it a little bit. It'll change the shape, and you'll see that the displacement looks better. Let's add a color ramp to our roughness, just like you kind of always should, just to dial in the way you want your roughness. Certain images, benefit from it a lot. For example, this one, I think, getting just the roughness a little bit more crunched looks better. So I'm a fan of crunching it up. Let's crunch it up actually even a little bit more. We don't want it looking wet, but I want it just looking a little bit more soft and kind of slick. So something like that should actually probably be good. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that looks good. So those are just a couple tweaks to do to your Quixel. There's probably more things you can import in Bridge that'll help it look even better, but these are just a couple that I usually go with and a couple of settings that I do when I'm making scenes. I actually think this looks, pretty dang good, all things considered, especially given we started out with this ground material is the one that really is impressing me, especially since we started out with something with no specular, and it just looked like that, The specular can do so much for you into making it look a lot better, so make sure you download that when you're doing it. Anyway, I've been Alex with Level Up Plus VFX. Tomorrow I'm going to be dropping a texturing tutorial where I teach you guys how to properly texture paint 2 different textures together like you can in Unreal. So stick around for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.